Hello guys, welcome back to the next tutorial. In the last one we talked about list, right? We started with the discussion of list, and in this one we will continue our discussion by looking at the methods, the built-in methods available inside a list, and they are by default provided by Python, right? So we are using the same list as we talked about in the last lecture. We have a list named cars, and the items in the cars list is BMW, Honda, Audi. So similar to strings, we have a lot of methods. The way we can play around with strings for manipulating them and using them in our code, we can play around with lists as well. So let's take a look at the first method that's available, which is similar to strings, and that's length. So what it's gonna do is it's gonna give me the length of the cars, which is the name of my list. I'm gonna define a variable, and the variable name is length, and I'm just storing the length of the cars in that variable, right? And let's print it out. So let's print it out, the length of the list. So I'm gonna run the code, and it prints 3 because I have 3 items and the index is 0, 1 and 2, right? So that's the easiest one and the first one. Let's take a look at another one. So let's assume that I defined this list and later I decided that I want to add more items in this list. I just don't want only 3 cars, I want more cars. So what I can do is I can append items at the end of the list using the append method. So I'm gonna give the name of the list and hit dot. It's gonna give me all the methods. I'm gonna say a append, and here I can append any more item. So I can say maybe pens, and it's gonna add the pens at the end of the list as the name is append, so it's gonna do at the end of the list. So what I can do is I can again print the cars list, and I can show you what the new list is. So my new list is BMW, Honda, Audi and Benz. So Benz got added at the end, right? That's pretty cool. So similar to append, let's say I decided to add more items, but this time I don't want to add at the end of the list. I want them to be added at the index that is desired. So what I can do is I can use another method called insert, and this is gonna take the index number where I want to add the item. So let's add the index 1 and the name of the item that I want to add. So what I can do is maybe I can add a Jeep. That sounds pretty good, right? So let's print the list again. Let's print the list again and let's see what my new list is after inserting Jeep. So my new list is BMW, Jeep, Honda, Audi, Benz. So this time Jeep got inserted at the first index and BMW is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Everything after Jeep got shifted right and Jeep got inserted at the first index. So this is how we can add items using a particular index as well, right? That's pretty cool. Sounds good. So let's see what next we can do with the list. So let's say I wanna find find the index of a particular item inside a list. So let's do this. So maybe let's call it X, and let's say cars dot index, and I can provide the name of the object that I want to find. So let's say I want to find where Honda is. So what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to find the index of Honda inside the list. So I'm just gonna say print X, and X should have the value which was the return of cars dot index, right? So I'm just gonna print X and let's see where Honda is. So Honda is at 2 index. Is that true? 0, 1 and 2. Yes, it is at second index. So that's what it does, guys. So we can find the index of any particular item in the list. And obviously if we have 2 Hondas in the list, then it's gonna give the first index. So basically the first encounter of the Honda it's gonna give. So that's what it does. Alrighty. So let's take a look at another thing. So let's see how we can remove items from a list. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna define a variable called y, and I'm gonna say cars dot pop. So what it does is it removes the item from the list, and I can just print y, and then let's print the new list. Let's see what it does. So what it's gonna do is it popped out, if you can see, it popped out pens. Why? Because it was the last item in the list. You can see here it was the last item in the list, and the new list is BMW, Jeep, Honda, Audi, right? So we can actually, so pop by default works from the end. It's similar to append, as append adds in the end, pop removes from the end. And if we want to remove the item that we desire, we can do that as well. So what we can do for that, we can actually say something like cars dot remove, and I can give the name of the item here. So let's give Jeep here. So Jeep. So basically fine, and remember, pop gives you a return output, so we can save the value that is popped out, but there's nothing in remove, so we don't get any return output. So we can just do the print cars list, and we will see what the new list is. So it's gonna be at the end, and the new list is BMW, Honda, Audi. So Jeep got popped up, Jeep got removed. So basically we removed a particular item and we gave the name of the item and it got removed, and we are again back to our original list that we defined here. So we have the original list, right? We started from BMW, Honda, Audi, and we're back to that. So we can remove items from the list. That's pretty cool, right? So kind of we covered a lot. So let's do a couple of more. So let's talk about slicing a list. So the way we slice items from string, we can do exactly similar thing in the list. So let's do this. Let's say I have slicing, and let's define it. Let's define a variable, and I'm gonna say cars, and I'm gonna say 1 and colon 0. So what it does is it's gonna get all the items from the list, starting from the first index to the end. If I give it empty, it's gonna take to the end, and it's gonna start from the first index. So you know what, let's first do something like which is easy. So let's do from 0 to 2, and let's see what this contains. So print slicing, and this should contain BMW and Honda, right? So what it's doing is it is taking out the items from index 0 to 2 and putting in another list called slicing. This is the name we gave, and 0 is inclusive but 2 is not inclusive. So what's happening is it's getting BMW, which is the 0 index, and Honda, which is the first index, but it's not getting Audi. So if you see the run console, we are only getting BMW and Honda, right? So it's not involving the last index, it's not involving the ending index. So that's how it works. So let's do a couple of more. So let's do A and cars, and maybe 1, 2 at the end. And if I'm gonna do print A, let's see what it prints. It's gonna print Honda and Audi. So why it print Honda and Audi? Because we started from index 1, so it skipped 0 and it printed till the end, right? So that's how it works, guys, and that's how we can do. So let's say if you want to the end, you can have one more way. You can just take the length of our list and you can go till the end as well, and it's fine. So basically up to end you can go either way. So what else you can do? You can slice the list, you can get the you can get in another list and all those things. So I think that's pretty much it. Okay, let's do one more thing. Let's sort the list. So you can have the list in any order, right? So you have the cars in this order. So what I can do is I can sort this list. So cars, let's just print this out directly. Print cars dot sort. So what it's gonna do is it's gonna sort the list. So right now it's BMW, Honda, Audi. So let's print it. Right now it's none. So let's see what happened. So I'm gonna see what's happening here. So cars dot sort is gonna, I have the cars. So let's print out the cars one. So print cars, and let's print out a separator so we know what's happening. Star and multiply it by 20 or something, so we know what's happening and where it's happening. So it's printing the cars BMW, Honda, Audi, and we can just do cars dot sort here, and instead of printing it here, I think we can just print cars. So let's do the sorting outside. So yeah, it did it, right? So it did Hyundai, it did Audi, BMW, and Honda. So because it's sorted alphabetically, so Audi is appearing in the first place, which is because it's starting from A, and then BMW is starting from B, and then Honda is starting from H, right? So because we were doing inside the print, it was having issues, but yes, we can sort the list and it maintains the order once it's sorted, and then we can print the cars list, right? So we can sort out the list. We saw how we slice the items from the list, and we saw how we can remove items from the list. We saw how we can add items from the list, add items to the list, and we saw how to find the length of the list. So I think that's pretty much it, guys. That's pretty cool. So I would just say that practice as much as you can, download the file for your reference, and come back if you have any questions. Thanks for ending this one, guys. Stay tuned for the next one. Thanks, guys.